especially the audio part of it, and that's why you got to be careful with the audio part, because they just want to depend on what they're listening to. They're eating, and they're not even looking at some screens, you know, so all they want to do is hear, but can they read the word that is there? Because it's being read for them, so they don't, you know.
And to talk about listening comprehension, the kids need listening comprehension. They really do. A lot of the kids, you know, they need that, or they don't have that strength to, you know, that listening comprehension. But Mayan gave the teachers that opportunity or the power to turn it off on, or leave it on completely off, leave it on always, or leave it on intermittently, maybe just on the weekends. And I'll show you how to do that on the faculty side. So definitely the listening comprehension has a solution. If those are the kids, if they're just listening, you don't want that. You want them to actually independently read on their target lifestyle level. How else is someone experienced mine? Tell me what you the good, the bad, the good.
When they choose their favorite, is there a way to limit what they choose?
In the sense of limit how?
Individually, you have to, like, I don't want them to read a graphic novel.
It's because if you think about it, Mayan is their choice. It's all about their interest. It actually brings back the love of reading to the kids, because a lot of times we gonna, you know, say no, you only have to pick from this and that, you know, so it does.
They waste so much time looking for a book to read that they're not reading.
So here's something that we can do and look for best practices is make sure they stay with their recommended. It'll still give them the opportunity to read their graphic novel if they all want to read graphic novels, or they just want to read about animals, whatever it is, but stay with their focus and not start browsing and waste a lot of time. So we'll address that. Okay? Anyone else want to share what they, you know, things that they like or dislike or want to know more about? How do you, is anybody else using it here? Because a lot of times we, you know, the kids are using it, but we as teachers don't know the potential, and that's what I want to show you, kind of a little bit more of the potential. Any feedback?
Last year, but didn't utilize it because of the type of students, the student needs he had, so we wanted to just
Okay, so I'll do a little bit of refresher what to look for best practices, and then we'll get our hands on, because I think, you know, being on the program is the best, okay? So we'll do that. So I'm gonna, I can give you a student account, but I just don't want to waste so much time on the student account. I'm gonna open up a student account, and I can give you a student account login, and you can play with me, but if not, I'll have it on the board. So if you do want, so the first thing I'm gonna go into is, let me just go quickly. Do you know that there is an offline app for Mayan? Okay, so just in case the kids do want to read offline, they can download some books. But the best way to show the progress is once they do read those books, they come into a Wi-Fi area. Those books will automatically load onto the Mayan online. So the online is what tracks the progress and how many books they've read. Okay, so that's very important.
But do they have to have the license for it?
Well, your school, the
I'm just saying
purchase,
the kids. Okay.
I'll show you how they get on the Mayan app and what PIN number they need on the student, because they do need a PIN number to download the app. Okay. So let's move on to that. And this is what this gentleman, what is your name?
Teddy.
Teddy was talking about. They take an interest inventory. That's the first thing. They can change that interest inventory, because a lot of times the kids have used it maybe in 2nd grade, but in 3rd and 4th they haven't used it, and now they're in 5th grade and their interest has changed. So I'll show you that they can update their interest. But the first time on Mayan, they will see that interest inventory. Then the next, yes? No, no.
They were on it last year.
They can refresh.
Does it carry over?
Yes,
or
it does.
Start over new?
It doesn't start over. Great question. So even the placement exam does not start over. So that's very important to know. So if the students were on it for the first time last year, they really didn't utilize it so frequently, their lifestyle levels might be out of date.
Right.
Okay? So I will show you the options that you can do for that to refresh, to make sure that they do get their current lifestyle level. Okay, so once they do that, they get that placement exam that you were talking about. It can be lengthy. The first time, it's about a 35 question. Have you ever used AR here before, Accelerated Reader Star Testing? Because it's very similar to that. It's basically a placement exam. The better they read, the more questions they get at a higher level. If they do miss 4 in a row, it actually, logs them out and it doesn't continuously frustrate them and it gives them their Excel level. But if this is out of date, there is a way for them to kind of refresh, okay? So once they do that, they get their dashboard. Have you seen your student's dashboard? This is the elementary. Is everybody here elementary?
Yeah.
Okay, so there we'll see that dashboard. Don't worry, I will show you now what it looks like live and a few things to look for in that dashboard. Very important. So once they do that, they do get their books. No matter if they just want to read graphic novels, that's what they're going to get, okay? But they do have other things to get them involved, and instead of just listening and not really focusing on the book, we can teach them about how there is that highlighting capability for dictionary. There's also, this is my favorite of it, it is the annotating tools. Has anybody, or reading tools, has anybody played with the reading tools? If you model this with your students, they will start using these tools at close reading, annotating, and probably have more independent reading time than just listening to the book. So those reading tools I will model. The best thing that you can do for your class is to use Mayan as a teacher. With your account, you open up a lesson. Let's say you're teaching nouns. How many of us have to teach nouns again and again and they forget what a noun is? They forget what a verb is. So open up a book on that topic, whatever topic, and model those reading tools. Then do you guys have boards in your classroom, interactive boards? So then those dump boards actually become those smart boards. They can kind of interact and come up to the board and use those reading tools. So I will show you how to do that. If you model that, then they'll have that capability to do it on their own once they're in their own independent reading station. So that's very powerful, the highlighting, the drawing tool, all of that is powerful. So we'll go through that. And then, like you said, Teddy said there is a 5-question quiz after the book. Very simple 5 questions. There's first a peer review or a book review. Let me warn you, what a lot of times the kids will do is probably put a word in there that might not be appropriate. That book review can be turned off on the admin side. I had a student that every book he would review would put the word poop. Poop, poop, and poop. So obviously, you see that it doesn't go anywhere until he was a first grader. Until you actually, you on your side will see the comments, and you can actually tell the parents, look at what your son and daughter are doing. But it doesn't go anywhere into the Mayan world until you approve it or delete it and speak to the child. But that has happened, but this option can be turned off. Then they get their quiz. The quiz is immediate feedback, so once they do, they turn in the quiz, pops their results. I've got 3 out of 5. Now, you can put your standards in the sense, guys, if you don't get 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, you must what? Read the book again and take the quiz. So in Mayan, they can actually take a quiz various times. They will get a new set of questions. Okay? So you can do that. They can read the book again and get a new set of questions and then get that benchmark of 80% or 60%, whatever you choose to make it. Now, what's very important, they can take all the quizzes or they don't have to. I think the quizzes are powerful. I will show you later why I say they're powerful, because of a report. You can actually do a data-driven instruction with the quiz report only. Okay? So it is very powerful. But in actuality, the way Mayan shows growth, or the student shows growth on Mayan, is through benchmarks. There are Lexile level mini benchmarks. In order for the student to show progress and to continuously show progress with Mayan and this is something you do want to write down, because I'm sure it was told to you last year and you have forgotten. Every 2 weeks, Mayan gives the student opportunity for growth. They must hit a trigger of either ending 5 books or 3 hours of reading. They will get an embedded benchmark. Very quick, very short, closed passage. It has nothing to do with what they have read. There's nothing on their topics they've read. It's a cold read. That happens every 2 weeks if they hit those triggers. But if they haven't been reading like last year, maybe they really didn't use that program, the Mayan, they didn't read frequently, then their Excel level is probably off. So the best way to update is get them to read appropriately every 2 weeks, at least 5 books. That's not a lot of reading. If they're in chapter books, it's 3 hours of reading. So if they do that continuously, then they will show progress. And I'll show you how they can monitor their progress, and you don't have to pull reports for that. So that's very important. They can take the quiz after the book, but what they must take is the benchmark. Here is what's happening with 5th children. I finished reading my 5th book. It says, continue to benchmark, or home. Guess what they do? Home. And they do not take those benchmarks. Okay? So, this is something that you want to tell them, guys, and I'll show you what it looks like. On their dashboard, you will see, and once you show them this, they will see. On their dashboard, this is the student's dashboard. Do you see a little purple envelope on the Mayan tile? Do you see that? Very small. There's a purple envelope. Okay, this is the way it looks on a regular. Let me go to a student so you can see. See that black tile? It's on the Mayan, the home. This is considered home. They will see a purple envelope. It's actually a little live. The paper pops up to kind of say, hey, you have a benchmark waiting. Take me, take me. If they see that, it is very important that they do, because if not, what's going to happen? This is how you're going to sell them on them. They'll never get a higher score or lower, whatever. If they've been reading on target, obviously they'll show progress. If they've been reading on target, what's going to happen with that benchmark? It's going to decrease. So those are things to look for, and tell them, make them aware of their mistakes, and to use the program appropriately. So when they get that benchmark, they're going to get, obviously, a higher Lexile score, which is right here. They can monitor their score on their dashboard. Who else can monitor their score without you pulling reports? Mom and Dad. You don't have to pull a report, and I'll show you where else they can pull information. And also, the best selling point is they will never get a new what? Library of books. It will stay the same. So if they take that benchmark, they will refresh the score plus a whole brand new set of library books. So that's why you want to push them to take those benchmarks. A lot of kids skip them. They will know if they have a purple envelope. Is that clear? Did you know that? Were you aware of that? Okay, now you are. Okay, very important. Now, those are some mistakes that were just lack of information or that we don't have. So those are the look for as I use the program. These are the things that I see the students not using it. You know, as teachers, go in your center, use Mayan, but then we don't know how they're using it. Okay? So once they do that, they get on their dashboard. What's very important from the dashboard is definitely mom and dad and the child can see their current Lexile level. They can see the goals set by Mayan. They actually can meet 3 goals a week. It could be time spent reading, books finished, or pages read. All they have to do is click on here, here. Do you see the little scooter? As the scooter gets closer to the flag, the goal, it turns into a car, and if they actually surpass the goal, it turns into a rocket with fire. The kids will tell you, I got my rocket. Something cute will be to add a bulletin board with little rockets, and whoever, you know, passes the goal, they can put a little sticker rocket on their name. But that they will actually tell you. I've done presentations at school, and I come in, so-and-so, I got my rocket, and I'm not even their teacher, so that's something, you know, they like saying. So, again, what else is on the student dashboard? Again, I'm on the Mayan tile, their last book open. Now, what happens with children? They love to what? Browse and waste their time searching for books. right? Because they can go into the library like you can and start browsing. They can browse under category by browsing the categories, and this as a teacher, this is what I want you to do in a minute when we get to the teacher dashboard. But this doesn't, it does show books, but not on their target Lexile level. So they can waste a lot of time. They can actually click on and search by with that little filter. Tell me what that filter looks like, and you have the same filter on your side. What does it really look like? It's a funnel, it's a filter, but what does it really look like? Come on, it's almost happy hour.
Ooh,
Does it look like a champagne glass? Does it look like a champagne? Somebody say it's a martini with olives, whatever. I say it's. So here is another way they can search by different levels, by just a keyword search, but that wastes a lot of time. This is good for you as a teacher when you're teaching to search and browse, but as for students, they should stay with their recommended. The recommended is based on, and I'll go up here and I'll show you from the dashboard, all the way here on the dashboard, they will say recommended for you. This is based on their Lexile level, their current Lexile level, 50 points above to 100 points below Lexile, and on their interest. Might be graphic novels, but it's still on their target Lexile level. This is what they should stay on. Have them focus on recommended. Okay? If they want to change their interest, if they moved and looked at, moved from one year to the other and they have changed that interest, they can also change it. Let me show you by doing what? Do you see this little avatar? Little avatar, you have an avatar too. See that little avatar? Watch what happens. So the focus on the, let me just go back and review. The focus on the dashboard is make sure they know their current Lexile level. Focus that they can meet goals. And stay with their what? You answer this one. Stay with their what? Recommended. Okay? Stay with the recommended. Yes?
Does the little test they take at the beginning determine their Lexile?
Yes, yes. And
so
the books
we
are.
don't really need to know what it is in.
No, you can buy a report. I'll show you the target Lexile level, how you can kind of monitor
But
what
what
they
they
are.
ended the school year with doesn't have anything. It depends on how they do on this test.
Yes.
Okay.
And the way, and not only that, that begins their Lexile level, but what shows progress is the embedded what? Benchmarks. If they're not taking those, then that stays stagnant, nothing moves. That's very important. The quizzes don't change their Lexile, it's the benchmarks that change that Lexile. So that's on the dashboard, but now let me go to that avatar. Look at all the information when you click on that avatar. You also have the same thing. It has a Lexile. That shows where they started, where they've been, where they're going. So if I click on here, guess what the student can do? Who else can monitor this? Who else? Mom and Dad. You don't have to print a report for Mom and Dad. I started here. I wasn't reading on target. My first Lexile, I plummeted. I had it read in August, September, October. I really didn't read anything. Then there's my benchmark. I read a lot in November, and I got an increase. This is a student of demo, so that's why it goes up and down. But again, Mom and Dad can see what is happening, and more so, who else can monitor their growth? The student. You don't want up and down. You want a what? A ladder effect. But that tells Mom and Dad, and if they hover over the month, it will actually tell them how many books I read, how many minutes, and how many pages, if they just hover over a month. Okay, so Mom and Dad can see their growth there, they can see their growth. Remember we talked about interest, my interest has changed. You see the 3 hearts? They can click on my interest and actually change. This is the first thing they see when they first get on Maya, which is the interest inventory. And I can change it and save it, and now what happens? My whole library gets refreshed. I get a new set of books. Okay? Very important. Also notice the language. Mayan does have 10% Spanish books. Is that your area have the culture that needs that bilingual? Okay, Miami does. But now, this is what happened to one of my teachers. She said, my child came in, he's only getting Spanish books. I want him to listen to English books. There are actually bilingual books in there that they can listen in English and they can actually listen in Spanish also. So that's very beneficial. But what happened is in his interest inventory, he only chose Spanish books. That's why he was only getting Spanish books. So they can pick both, one or the other. Very important on the interest. Okay? The last thing I want to show you on the activity, on their avatar, is they can actually go into their activity, and this shows mom and dad the books that they've read, how much time they spent. So if they're clicking on a book and just clicking next, 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 and not actually reading through the book, it will show mom and dad that I only took a minute to finish this book, or I took the appropriate time. So that's very important if I finished the book and if I took the quiz. So that's important too under activity for mom and dad to catch maybe open house or something you want to go over the best practices for using the program. And obviously they can change their little avatar. We're going to do that as well as teachers. They can change their avatar. They do get bonuses for reading a lot. They get bonus and they can change it. Do you remember I spoke about the offline reading app? The offline they can download. Do you see that little iPad icon? If they click on that, it gives them a PIN number. That PIN number is what they need to download the app. And there's instructions on the professional development site for parents and you as well as teachers for all of this. Don't worry, because I know you're going to forget half of the things I've said, but there is a way to refresh your memory. Don't worry about that. Okay, so that's important too. Any question? What is important for you to remember on the student side? What is important? What are some of the look-fors and best practices I told you to look to remember? So what happens with benchmarks? Tell me about that.
Make sure they take them. Yes.
Make sure they take them. If they don't, how do they know they haven't been?
You can see the envelope.
Envelope. Have them look for the envelope, right? What else is important? How often should they be taking benchmarks? Every 2 weeks? What's the trigger?
5 books in 3 hours.
3 hours or 5 books. If they take 3 weeks to read those 5 books, obviously the progress is going to be what? Slow. Okay? Very important. So when they're in their reading rotation, they should get enough time to read those books and hit those triggers. Any questions on that? Any questions? Where can mom and dad monitor their children and they as children can monitor themselves? Where can they go? Into their avatar. They can see their progress with benchmarks, they can see their interests and their activity. Okay? The last thing, there's this little report that actually is very new on mine, and if you click on the profile, it's actually printable, but the parents can see it, and it's kind of like a whole synopsis of summary of what they've been doing. How many books, how many pages, how many words they've read. This is something cute that they can print maybe at the end of summer. If they're using it for summer, you guys can print that, put it away, put it in a book bag. But that is a brand new little feature which is on, again, in their little avatar. A lot of us don't even know about the avatar, that there's a lot of information behind that. Okay? So, ready to go on the faculty side? Yes? Okay. So I'm going to log off. You guys log in the way you do as a teacher. Any questions so far? I know my mouth is running, but are you okay with it? I know you're on information overload from an entire day of PD, but I hope I bring fresh information and useful information.
Right, you can use their login. So you use the last name, first initial.
So you're not guys
Of a
want to log in as
teacher in your
teachers, you're
school?
good?
No,
No?
because you can just access it using that during the summer.
Ms. Goss, some of us don't know how to log in. Do we have a?
I'm external, so I don't know.
That's
So,
okay.
so think about, you should have it as a teacher of
Teacher.
Of course, that's right. So last name, first initial, Julia.
You can do this. Okay.
Last name, first initial, and then teacher one,
We know you guys
uppercase
need
T.
help on logging in there.
last name for Michelle and have her attend your one?
Yeah, we have to.
It's Kendall, right?
It
Kendall,
depends on the
Kendall.
district, last day, we don't have to upload any children.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
So obviously you don't have any children, I see that. Yeah. We'll talk about that. So Ms. Goss, they don't have any children uploaded, it's when, do they have an automatic upload, or do they have to input their children? How does this district work?
Kathy's gonna work on it, she's gonna give them access, I think, to the entire school.
And they pick
they're
their
going
children.
to go in and group their kids.
Beautiful, perfect. So right now, you all that you see is probably a My Roster tab, blank, right, in black,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
And no students. Does it even say My Roster?
Yep.
Yes, it does, okay? So when they do the upload or when you add your students automatically, they will show up in your roster, 10, 20, 30, whatever children you have, obviously, hopefully not 30, oh Lord. So, what we are on right now is the My On tile. If you notice, is black, okay? I have students here, you will also have students eventually. What to look for? What can we do with this? So the My On tab will show you once your students are there, and it's actually a very quick look if the students are on trend or not. Right now, my demo account, my students, they haven't been reading from one week to the other, but let me actually change it so I can see something. I'm going to look at it from school year. If you notice, you will see a quick trend if they've noticed books finished. I have the filter as books finished. I have the filter as defaulted to school year. The one I really like is this week versus last week. And what you will see, everybody in? You will see a trend button, trend. The trend will show red or green arrows. It is a quick look on this student compared to last week to this week. If he's in a downward trend, negative, it'll show a red arrow. Hey, you haven't been on my end in a week, get on. It's a quick trend. Nothing to print, it's just something, a quick view of how your students are doing. So it's a very quick trend. You will see green arrows, hopefully, no arrows, that there's no data to compare from last week to this week, or a negative trend with red arrows showing, hey, you read less this week than last week. Very quick trend. Again, you don't have to pull reports for that. That is the My On tile. Click on the classroom tile, please, for me. Classroom tile. Here's where a lot of things can happen. You have your students. You probably don't. So if I click on students, I will obviously see students. You can do several things here with my student. If you notice, you see the audio narration here. Do you see that audio? It's green, some are black and green, some are black. Remember we were talking about how students love to just listen to the books and not independently read enough? Here's where the teacher can take control. The way to do that is you have to select a student. You can select individually, or you can select your entire class. Watch here. I can select the entire class. In My On, if you remember a takeaway, My On is about clicking. You click away and be done with it. Very simple. Click, click. Don't be afraid of clicking anywhere. So I just clicked on my entire class, or I can click on a specific student. Once I did that, this select an action was gray, now it's black. Now I have control of doing things. What are my actions? What are my choices? Assign to a group, you can do mini groups. For example, if you do have your rotation and you want to monitor so many groups, you can assign them to mini groups, red group, green group, whatever group, mermaids, whatever you want, you can do that. But the audio narration is here. So audio setting, I would click on it. And guess what happens now? What do you see? Another box with choices. Choices. Let me know if you, can you guys do that if you don't have students, right? You don't see that, right? Okay. You gotta look at me. Okay, so now here are my choices. What are my choices? Always on. You're gonna get all the green little dials, the buttons. Always off, it's always gonna be black. And this is what I like. I don't like to take the audio narration away from students because I think the audio listening is very important. That listening comprehension piece is important for any student. Some books, depending on the level of the books, will not even have the audio narration available. Just be aware of that, okay? So I would give them weekends only. That means during the week in my class, guess what? They have to read independently and they're not going to be listening to those books. On the weekend, they can listen away, okay? Now, how I used to do it in my class, this was not available probably 2 years ago. So they would have headphones, I would make sure their headphones were what? Unplugged. That's how I controlled them. But what happened is, a lot of teachers came in with a wish list. I want this change, I want this change, and Mayan listened and now gave you the audio control. But again, I caution with that. A lot of children need that audio narration, so you have the option to leave it on weekends only. Okay?
How does it look when it's on weekends only?
How does it look?
Yeah. Like that? Okay.
During the week, black.
Okay.
And you see Saturday and Sunday, green.
Right.
Does everybody notice that, the difference? So always on is the green, always off is all black, and weekends only has the Saturday and Sunday little dots green. Is that good? Okay? I'm sorry?
If you want to leave it always on, you can just turn the volume off on the Chromebook, right? Does it highlight? When it reads that way?
It highlights, it still highlights. Yep.
Okay.
Okay? So if they have the auto narration, it will highlight. You can do the highlight off, they can turn the highlighting off also. Okay? So that's an option, guys, for you. Is it good? Did you know about that?
No.
Okay? So that's a good option. So now I'm going to go in. Any questions on what you can do with the audio narration with under students? Remember, we're in classroom, in students. Now, I'm still going to stay in classrooms, but I want you to go to reports. Click on classroom, reports. Let me know if I'm going too quick. Okay, everybody there? Now, this is since last August, this was a change. It was completely different before. So what Mayan does with reports, and this is good because now you can get some data-driven instruction. I know you have other reports. You have my Lexia reports to pull and whatever other things. I'm only going to show you 2 that I think are beneficial. The rest, on your own, you can see the description. You can see if you want it or not. I'm going to show you 2 beneficial ones that I think will give you some data-driven instruction and to make sure your kids are reading most of the time on their what? Target Lexa level. That's how Mayan is going to show progress if those students are reading on target. Okay, so those. Now, if you notice, I have core report, quizzes report, reading habits, and I also have a little button that says goals. Now, you can set goals for each report. I'm going to show you individually the report. So, I'm going to go into quizzes. Remember those 5 little question quizzes that they take? I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to click on quizzes. And obviously, I can date range it. It's from the start of the year, which is 7/1/2017 to today. If it's next year in the summer, you can put every 2 weeks, whatever you want. You can date range it. And you run the report. Okay? On the top of the report will give you a summary. But let me show you what this report gives you now. Do you see where it says average quiz score per student? You see that right here? I know you don't see it, right? Right here, mine are blue and some are red. If you pull it without setting a goal, you will not see any colors. I think setting the goal is beneficial because it will, boom, bring out those important students, grab those students that are in the red, basically, okay? And promote or, give little prizes to the ones that are in blue. So the way you do that, do you see where mine says 60? Watch. I'm going to go to 0 so you can see what happens when I don't have any goal. Okay? Let me refresh it. Run report. I know why. Because under my goals, I will tell you why. Under my goals, I've had it set as 60. So, look at my quizzes. And this is another screen, but I'll show you. Normally, do you see my dial, my white button there? Yours are going to be all the way to the left. It's going to be on 0. On 0%. You see that? Now, do you see the purple tier? That is the recommended goal Mayan sets. So if I slide, all I'm going to do is slide that quiz average to recommended, which is 60. And also, the other thing that's in that report, the other information is quick question type mastery. This is what's beneficial for you. This is going to give you some data-driven instruction. So at 0, I'm going to put it to the recommended. Their recommended is 80%. 80% of the time you want your students, the question type, to get it correct. Watch what happens when I pull that report. I'm going to save that report or that goal. I'm saving the goal. I'm going to go to my reports and pull it. Again, run report. Now look what that data has given me, or that goal. Student number 1, what's his average score per quiz? 86, 96. Who should I conference with? Student number 7. He's taken 8 quizzes, but is only averaging 57%. What could happen? He might be reading off his target. He might be just picking books and not being on his target. That's a look for. But what I like this report for is on the right-hand side. This is going to give you that data-driven instruction. So what Mayan does with this report, if you notice, let me move it, scroll, and unfortunately you don't have students so you can't work along with me, is look what they've done to the quizzes. Mayan quizzes have always 5 questions. One is going to be main idea question, one is going to be a vocabulary question, supporting detail, inference, and interpretation. So once they get enough quizzes under their belt, you're going to have what? Data. And this is brand new. This is about a year old. So my reds are having trouble with what? Supporting detail. Because my goal was set at what? 80. These are the kids that are not meeting that goal based on that strand or benchmark. That's good information there. That wasn't available then. Before. It was just basically, 3 out of 5, they got 80%. They didn't break up the quizzes by strands. That I like. That's one of my favorite reports. That's new. Again, if you don't put a goal, you will not get colors. You have to set that goal in order to get colors. Very important. don't worry, all of this, all will have a summary on the professional development site, because you're gonna forget in 1 week how to set a goal. I will show you where to grab everything, don't worry. And I know you're on information overload, and I apologize, because it's been, I'm sure, a long day for you guys. We come in afterwards, it's like, oh my God, they're gonna hate me. But, so another report I like, and that's all I'm gonna show you on reports. Do you remember what I said is the kids are just browsing and they're not what? Reading on their target. They're wasting a lot of time. They're not showing progress. This is probably it. On target Lexile reading. Again, if I want colors, what do I have to do? Set the goal. Okay? So I'm gonna go up here where it says what? Goals. You see that? Goals. And I'm going to go to that report I want, which is the Lexile reading. I don't care about reading habits. I don't care about reading details. I don't care about Lexile. I want on target, which is
We went
right,
past it.
that one, right?
Keep going, it says on target. Up.
Ah, there you go. This is the important one. Obviously, I set it at the recommended, which is the 80. Mayan shows them recommended. You see that? Okay. And what do I have to do once I dial it to that 80? What do I have to do? I have to press what? Click on what? Save. Go to the top. Now I'm going to go into my reports tab and click on my what? On target Lexile level. Okay, on target Lexile reading. Run my what? Report. And some of us don't have anything, but look what it's telling me. Look, why are all my kids on red? They're not reading most of my time. What did I set my goal at? 80% of the time you should be on target. Guess what student number 1 is? He's 78% of the time reading above. What's he probably doing? Listening to all the books. Do you see what to look for? This is important. Us as teachers, they give us these programs and resources. Okay, put the kids on, but now, do we know as teachers the potential or the power of showing the kids the right way? The kids don't have. They don't, here, get on Mayan. They don't know what to do. So what are they doing? Browsing. My children would recommend books to each other. My 5th graders would recommend books to my 1st graders and vice versa. So, okay, look for this book. It was great. And they can, depending on the range, they can find the book. But this is what happens. They're most of the time reading off the target. This is brand new. This is a good report. You want, obviously, this to be in blues. Okay? That's a report I find very important because you want to see, if the kids are actually reading on their target, and for most part, only student number 24 has been reading on target. Okay? And again, these are demo accounts, but again, you see the power of telling them, hey, look what happened, look what you're doing, you're reading most of the time on off target, you're not showing progress. Mom and dad should help them with that. Okay? But that's a really cool report. And you can always download it to a what? Download report. Okay? And it's an Excel file. Okay? It's not a PDF, Excel file. Okay? You can, if you need that paper document. Any report you can download to an Excel file. But basically, where did I access that? Under Classroom, drop down menu, my reports. What can you do under students? Let's recap. What can you do under students? What can you do under students? Turn off the audio narration on, always on, weekends only, or you can actually make little groups. Since you don't have students, I'll show you where to find that for the future. If you do want little mini groups, you can do that. But you will have all your students under my roster. Okay, that you can do, very important. So audio narration in the classroom tab under students, what obviously in your classroom, the most important one is reports, and you have a plethora of information. My go-to are quizzes because you can get that data-driven instruction, and make sure that they are really on their target, because if they don't have that, what's the use of doing anything else if they're not reading on target? Okay? That's very important. Any questions on that? Any questions on that? Okay, now I want you guys to play. I want everybody to go into their library account. Please go into library. Library. And you can do this, anybody can do that. You don't have to have students for this. Library. Okay? Under library, I want you to go to browse. The students have recommended, have browse, have my list, and have search. They do not have the standard one, okay, for information, just let you know. But they do have all of this. So under classroom, I need all of you to go to browse. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you see. What do you see? You obviously see a champagne glass also. And you can see some filters. Here you can filter it a little bit. You can filter by fiction, nonfiction, graphic novels. Depending, this library, my library, might have more books than what your district purchased. So what does it show under your library? What does it show? How many books?
5,000.
5,000. That's how Miami-Dade is. Miami-Dade also has about 5,000. Okay? And if you notice, here is, as teachers, is where I found a lot of books to introduce a topic, to get them involved in a topic, to get them involved in those reading annotations and all of that. I've done it with pre-Kers and I've done it with ASD 7th graders, that they actually are part of the book. That's what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you how to browse for different books, save those books that you can always use to teach from, review from, and how to annotate, how to bring those kids now onto the smart boards and have them interact with the book. So, everybody ready? So, I'm going to show you, please. Does everybody teach language arts, ELA here? Okay? So, I want you to go into genres. Let me see, hold on. Language arts, sorry, language arts for me. And later on, I'll give you an opportunity to browse whatever you want. Language arts. That will bring you to subcategories. And I want you to click on word fun for me. So, and you can look for anything. I'm just showing you how to browse. I'm going to show you an example. Word fun. Now, in word fun, I found a great series of books, and I'm going to show you how to find books. So, I'm sick and tired of all the students not knowing what a noun is, right? So, or onomatopoeia or adjectives. So, I found a book that's called A Pocket Full of Nouns. Every book that you find, when you hover over it, tell me what you see when you hover over that book. Tell me what you see. 3 icons, right? Obviously, the green one is to open the book and read. The plus sign is to find that book and actually add it to your favorite list. That way, you don't have to search for it again. So go ahead and pick a book and do that right now. Add it to your list. And it will actually become gray. Once I add it to my list, now becomes what? Gray. It's going to be where? Where is that book going to show up? Under my list. Okay? I don't have to browse for it anymore. It's always going to be here. So this is what I suggest. On your free time, start looking for things ahead of time. What do I teach at the beginning? What am I going to teach this summer? What theme? What topic? Look for those books and introduce always forget what a noun is, okay? So I'm gonna go back to that book, and then I'm gonna show you. There was a second icon. You see the I? This really leads you to information. When they click on the I, and the students can do this also, it gives you information about the book. If you notice, what do these look like? They look like little M's. If everybody opens that information, these are called book connectors. Those are the best things in sliced bread. My favorite connector is book series, and show this to the students because guess what? The students love to read what? The same series of books or my target level. Look at, if I want all my books on 380 or whatever my target is, I can look and click on that connector. I'm going to show you book series. That's my favorite one. I'm going to click on that book connector. It looks like a McDonald's M. It looks like an M to me. I don't know what to you. Now look what I found. From 5,000 books or 12,000 books, I have now 4 books based on that series. With these 4 books, can I teach verbs, adjectives, onomatopoeia, and nouns? It actually took me to that book series. That book series is actually this. Words I know. I didn't know how to look for it before that way because I didn't know the name of the series. But that book connector helps me find books. And you will have a few minutes to find books that interest you. Now I'm going to teach you about nouns using the annotating tools. I'm going to read the book. And I'll give you time to play with that on your own. So on the bottom, you'll see start the book. And this is where a student can come up here and be your guide. A student can come and start the book. A student can maneuver these annotating tools. Start the book. Always with music. What does that mean? The audio narration is on. I'm the teacher. I control it. Now, before, audio narration was only controlled here by muting it. So if you turned off that audio narration, they're not going to see that mute, that little face. Okay? As a teacher, I can control it on my own. I'm here as a teacher now. When you are on as a teacher displaying the book, you will not get a quiz. So if you do want a review quiz, you have to use a student account. Remember that. Okay? So I'm going to start the book. Look at this arrow. Something very important to watch with that arrow.
What's a noun? Is it a dentist or a desert? How about a dandelion? Yes, it's all of these. A noun is a part of
I'm
speech
going to pause it. If you notice, I have a whole bunch of what? Annotations there. I used it before. I have to clear it in order to use it again. So how do I clear that? Once you start a book, do you see this little notebook of reading tools? Right there, there's a little notebook with a pencil and a highlighter. I'm going to go to the delete and I'm going to remove from the whole book because I'm sure I have a whole bunch, so I have to remove them. If your students don't remove them and you start modeling annotations, guess what? Your students are going to have those annotations on their book. So you'll see if they're actually doing close reading with those annotations. So I'm going to start my audio narration.
Person, place, or thing. There are 2 kinds of nouns, common and proper. Common nouns name a general person, place, or thing. They begin with a lowercase letter. Examples of common nouns include brother, park, and holiday.
Again, I can always pause it.
Proper nouns name a specific.
I can mute it, and I'm controlling the audio. The kids can be reading, or I can be reading. But what's important is now a child can come up here and pick a highlighter, pick the highlighter option, pick a color of their choice, and actually now highlight what is a noun or the main idea or the important details of anything you want. What is another example of nouns? The little ones can come and circle all the nouns. Let me circle it in blue. She's a girl. She's a noun. The flower is a noun. The pencils are a noun. So lots and lots of things you can do with the annotating. For the older ones, there's always sticky notes. Sticky notes. I don't know if you guys use sticky notes. There's a sticky note. I didn't draw. I'm sorry. Sticky note is the little pin. Main idea. Oh, I gotta spell it correctly. Main idea. Nouns. Once I push the pin, I send it off. The pin is wherever my main idea is. So if you are teaching main idea, if you're teaching important details, vocabulary, whatever you are, you can have them put in a pin there. You can have them highlight the main idea in blue, the important details in red. Yes?
Can you go in and see their annotations?
You can go see their annotations on their side.
You can't see
Yeah.
them.
You can't see it from you. So before, they used to actually have a report that said annotations. It would just say 5 journal entries and 10 annotations, but it wouldn't show you their annotations. So the only way is when they're working in their center, I want everybody to make sure they highlight all the nouns in red. If they have, then you go in and see if they're highlighting it in red. But they're on your side, there's no way to see that. You would have to see it on their side if they're working. Now, if they don't delete it, it's always going to be there even after they close the book. So let's say they open a book this week and your focus is nouns. If they've highlighted all the nouns in red, next week you can actually have them open that book and see if they actually annotated that. So that's the only way of seeing it once they're in their center on mine. But if you model it enough and you're up here interacting with them, then obviously they're going to do the same thing when they're independently reading in their corner. Start very simple. How many of us teach kindergarten? We have kindergarten teachers here, first
No,
grade?
it's all
This is
upper grade.
the upper grade. I would actually start with the highlighting main idea in one color, the important details in another, whatever standard, and also sticky notes for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, especially 4th and 5th. I would definitely introduce that sticky note. And actually, what is that? What is the benchmark? How do you know the character is sad? It doesn't say the character is sad. Where is the evidence, the text evidence of the character? They highlight it, put a sticky note next to it, and that's the text evidence that the character is sad. The boy drooped his head in feet or whatever. Whatever the text evidence is, they would highlight it and do a sticky note. I would start with that, especially for the upper grades. If you model it enough on your library, they will then do it on their independent reading time. Is that helpful, the reading tools? That's one of my favorite, the reading tools, especially the highlighter and the annotating tool, especially for your upper grades. The little ones, share this with your teachers. They can highlight and words, adult words. I've done it with little pre-Ks. We were doing a lesson and they were highlighting all the number words and the color words. And they were on their floor waiting for their turn. So again, it becomes that dumb board, becomes that smart board because they're interacting with the book and the tools that Mayan has. Very important to continue. I'm just going to continue quickly. Watch what happens to the arrow. Remember I said a student has to finish, end 5 books. Look what happens to that arrow. Something very important to model. Just for time's sake, I'm just going to put 1.
Apples, yogurt, blueberries, beans, oranges, crackers, cherries, greens.
These are all nouns. All nouns.
Go team!
Now, this is all about that.
Show your teammates what you've got. Over here, I'm open. I'll take a shot. Skates, mitt, puck, basketball, cleats, grasshopper, honeybee, cockroach,
So it's a new
campfire,
way
swimsuit,
of teaching them nouns.
sweet dreams. The day is done, but no need to be blue. Your soft, comfy bed is waiting for you. Sunset, street light, firefly.
I can mute it, I'm controlling it. Now important to show and model for the students. See that end? If they don't press end, it will not count as a finished book.
Yep.
Guess what students will do not to get the quiz? Will not press end. This is another look for.
Yeah.
They will not press end and they will go straight to home. Look for that, guys. They will do that, especially your 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Okay? But those quizzes, as you know, give you what? Important information because of that quizzes report. That's new. So that I would definitely, and the quizzes are fun. I would do this with a student account. Therefore, the quizzes comes up, and they actually, we can take it together as a group. That would be something to do also. You must press the end. On their student side, they would get a quiz. On your side, you do not. That's browsing, looking. So I showed you how to browse by category and show you the book connectors. That book connectors is really powerful. Did you like that? Now, let me show you how to search, keyword search. So those of us that are on our devices, where do I go? I'm still in what tab? Library. Down arrow, I'm going to go to search. Remember the heart is those favorites that you did. Okay? The search. Searching, now obviously you still have a champagne glass again. You open it up. You can search by different filters. You can search by fiction, Lexile. I know you guys had my Lexile, okay? AR, if you do AR, guided reading, all of this you can filter. Or you can simply filter by a keyword search, okay? 2 tips. To make it, a keyword search will give you things with just that word, matter. Let's say matter. It will give you with anything that has the word matter in it. If you want more specific, you would put quotation marks. That would also help. And also another good tip for those kindergarten teachers you want to share when you go back to your school, emergent readers. If you put the word emergent, you should see how many books you get on emergent for those students that need those beginning books. So emergent is a good keyword to remember. Share that with your staff, your fellow teachers, and quotation marks. So I'm going to go to put the word noun, since we were talking about nouns. And I'm going to go to search. And I get 7 books on nouns. So that's another way to search by keyword. Any book I choose, I hover, it gives me that information, it gives me the book connector, okay? We already went through that, the same thing. Go ahead and search, put a keyword, tell me what you find, I'll give you time to play with that search, and then I'll go to one even better. So those of us that are on devices, go ahead and search that keyword search, tell me what you find. Sometimes it works a little bit better than others, but let me see what you find. Give me some aha moments. Look at categories, look at keywords. See if you're finding something you can use. What is a landform? Don't we teach that? Landforms? And isn't it kind of boring for them? But if you teach them with that book interacting, they're coming up to that book, they're highlighting, they're circling, they're diagramming. Play with the tools. Go ahead and play with those tools. Give you 5 minutes to play with the tools. Browse through category, browse to the keyword search, what I've taught you. And you're going to see some great books. I'm actually going to go into there's a whole bunch on community, careers, for careers, health. I know there's, depending on what, there's health books. Okay, I know someone who's in a wheelchair, I know someone with ADHD, which I'm sure I have. So there's lots and lots of, headlights, oh that's great. So again, lots and lots of things that you put matter. What did you get when you put, for landforms, what did you put, just landforms on the keyword search? What did she put when she got landforms?
Yeah,
just landforms, right? Okay. So go students can, and once they're Lexile, if they're on a student, it actually gives them their Lexile. It actually is already defaulted to their Lexile. Go ahead and search for that. Tell me what you see, open the book.
You can just, pick a little eye, it gives you all the information.
Yes, the I gives you information, and then if you pick an I again, let me show you that what you're saying. The I is information, and then there's even I again up on the top, and it gives you more information. Okay? So again, I would definitely teach the kids doing those, the I for reading series, or the Lexile one. The connector that says Lexile level or reading a book series, that'll help them look for books. But still staying on their target level. Very important, staying on their target level. Guys, is this new information that I'm giving you? Is this new information? I just don't want to repeat something that you already know. New information? Yes, good, we're good. Too much information? Yes. We're leaving our brains on fire, okay? If you forget, I'll show you where to find that information. Remember that Padlet is open. If you do that URL, you will find questions probably already there.
7:30 and it's pre-K to 2.
Ms. Goff, how are you? You okay? Are you following the program? Good?
I've used this, we piloted it at a school that I worked in, so this is
Good information?
very good.
Okay. Just don't want to
The
make sure.
kids love it.
The whole thing is it's easy for the kids. But again, the kids are not using it to its fullest potential. They're listening too much, or they're reading off their target level, not taking those benchmarks, so they're not seeing their growth. Those are things to look for. And that's what I always, even how, if we are intermediate, if we've already, used it before, we're not using it appropriately. We don't have enough information for the students to give to the students. That's the whole thing. We're not giving the students the correct information because we don't have. We don't have time, right?
So when they go in, they'll do the same thing as far as recommended with browse.
Yes.
So browse,
And
that's
search.
how they're finding ones that are not.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So what they should do is stay under the thumb, or on, which is under the library says recommended, or if they are searching, just search under Lexile. So, for example. And you will see, I'm gonna go to a student and you will see how they see that search. Is anybody finding good books, any aha moments for books?
Put in comics. 22 books.
So watch, I'm a student, watch. Oh, Lord. Okay, so watch me looking for books. I'm on search. Browse, we know what to do. We know what recommended. Look at search. Look at, if I click on Lexile, look what it's defaulted already. The program is telling them these are the best Lexile because my Lexile is actually 335. So the program is saying if you click here, these are the books that you should be searching for. It gives them that default. If you notice, I click there and click on search, it's going to give me 825 books recommended. Best Lexile for you. If they click here, guess what? Show them they're not going to be able to read it independently. So again, the program pushes them to stay with their what? Lexile score. They're best for them. They're independent. Again, look at all the plethora of books that they have. There's some really cool books in here. Especially for us as teachers, and one of my goals today was for you to use it as a teacher in your curriculum. Teach about nouns, teach about land forms with that book. Because now it becomes interactive. The kids are up there highlighting everything. I hear just like you do in your reading, when you're doing your normal reading, teaching them reading, you can do it in the content area or whatever area. With fun books, it becomes, hey, you want to hear about, I have my library, you have your own library. for. That's how I would introduce mine on at the beginning. Life cycle of a butterfly. You should see the pictures. The pictures are amazing. If you're teaching the landform, I saw the landforms, great pictures. Look at the life cycle of a butterfly. And I'm just going to put butterfly as a key word. And it's under his, oh, this is under his lifestyle, that's the problem. Here you go, Asa. So 31 books because I didn't depress. This is a beautiful one. My favorite.
I think it's plastic.
Which is the one?
The life cycle, the life cycle of the butterfly.
Oh,
Right there.
there it is, okay? You have to see the pictures of these things. The pictures are incredible. Very detailed. There's another one that I actually like best.
That's good to remember for them to read the structure. They need to read the captions. They need to.
Yes, and this is where your reading tools come in. Your reading tools, you know, underline, highlight. I want everybody to highlight your captions. That way, or circle them. You can even draw a circle around them. Diagram. This is a subtopic, subheading. So lots and lots of things you can do with those reading tools. But the picture, this is not the book I was looking for. There's a beautiful, beautiful book that actually has a perfect, even better pictures. But again, lots and lots of information with that search. So the students have up to search, but look at what the teachers have now. Let me know when you're done with browsing. How many of you found some books that you might be able to use for teaching? I know you found what? Landforms? I'm going to pick on you because I saw your book. It was cool. Anybody find something else that you kind of said, aha? What did you find?
The comics. I quote a lot of them reading comics.
The graphic novels. You can teach with graphic novels. Main idea, characters, settings.
If they're not going to read, and that's what they're going to read, then let them read it.
Then let them read what they like, right? Anybody else see something that had an aha moment? Anybody back here? Something cool? What did you find? Writing poetry. You should see the songbooks. A lot of information. There's lots of things out there.
Any book that I can use to introduce anything.
Yeah.
Literally, like I can type it in one way.
Yes.
Examples, like.
Yes, you should see the absolute anything that any topic you want to introduce will be there. And it's so much better than how do we introduce mammals? Let's say we put a circle, right? And we put mammals, we put the web, right? Now we can tell me that's not true. Okay? Now we can use a book and really show them what a mammal is. You know, so again, lots of choices for us as a teacher. Now the students are using it, guess what? Now I'm going to use it as a teacher. That will really pique the interest and get them entertained, really. Because they're up there circling what a mammal is and putting a picture or highlighting, okay? So, now I'm going to show you the last. So again, we're searching for books. Ready? Tell me what to do. How to search for books. Library. We did browse. We did search keywords or other filters. Now look at this one. Everybody click on standards. Cool, right? Very cool. Aha. So select your state. Select your state. Connecticut Core Standards. Go ahead and do that. Correct? Connecticut Core Standards. Nothing else. Select your subject. I'll always do ELA. Select a grade. And select a subsection.
You should do ELA, that's like health standard.
What do you want? You tell me what.
Language arts.
Language arts right here, right?
Second
No,
one,
no,
second
not even
one.
the second one.
That's
the
ELL.
health standards, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, this is for ELL. Sorry. Language arts, okay. And then 4th grade, what's the subsection you want? Informational. Our FSA is mostly informational. Is that how your tests are?
Yes.
Your standard is more
Yes.
informational based?
Non-fiction, yeah.
Non-fiction, right? 70% like non-fiction or something. And then you search. So guess what? Look at your there. Key details. I have 245 books, and under key details, I have details and examples, determine main idea, example and events. Look at all of that. Is that cool? Did you know that about that? That one's cool. So if I choose that, I have all my books. So if you notice, I can filter it more by lexile level, upper grade, guided reading, page count. This is my title. I can always go into the book and preview it. Always preview it. I can. Once I open a book, I can preview it. I can play it. I can see the reading series. But I also can do two things. I can select the book, and watch what happens. Remember I said mine is all about clicking? If I click on the little box, I can actually do what? Add it to my list, and I will always have that book under my list. There's another thing that I can do is selection to a project, but we're not going to get into projects. Okay? But that you can do kind of on your own. You can actually do digital projects and assign. But there, you can add to your list and have those books to teach your standards when you're ready. So go ahead and search by standard and tell me if you find something that's pretty cool. Any questions on the parking lot? Can you check while you're checking? So do you like that search, that standard search? Pretty cool, huh? That's also, I think, about a year old also. I think it started last August, if I'm not mistaken. That wasn't available before. Any cool standards that you found? Any books? So that's a pretty cool search. The students do not have that. That's the only one they do not, they don't have. Okay? The only one they don't. They do have the rest. That's the only thing. So some do and some don't. Yep, exactly. Cool, cool. And that's true, you did the math skills just on the keyword search? Cool. Oh, let me do that one. I know that in my school district, the kids use it. We talk to the teachers, they use it. So those are the books for a lot of So they practice a lot in summer school, use it, and then once they use it, they'll remember for the beginning of the new school year. It's pretty cool. You can do, keep it simple or go the next level. But I think then using it as teachers to introduce a lesson and the books, it's great. How do you guys feel about the standard search? Pretty cool? Finding lots of information? Start adding it to your list. Add to your list so you can have it there. Think about your curriculum in the summer. What is the theme? What are some of the standards you're going to first teach? Add to your list already so you can already have it there. What have you been finding, gentlemen? Anything good?
Know that I put in hip hop, and even those books come out.
Ooh, wow.
Like last year,
You see?
the kids were reading on hip hop and,
Wow. So let me see.
football biographies.
Yeah, they have lots of biographies, and also sports star biography and
Yes.
hip hop,
Yes.
artists.
Yes.
They have, and that's what the kids, if you get their interest peaked, they will read.
Right.
It's just peak. And again, Mayan is all about my interest, my level, what I want to read. So it's pretty cool. I think it's cool. Just say, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to do a search for, like you said, hip hop. Let's try it right. Oh yeah. Oh, look at Drake.
You see?
Woo! Have you seen this video, this new video that that was filmed in Miami and South Florida. He went to different places in South Florida, like for example, he went to the University of Miami, and he saw a student there, and he said, okay, you got a car, and you know, he was giving away at the supermarket. He went and said, everything's on me, whatever is in your cart, and it was really cool. So. So lots and lots of information. Oh, Tom and Jerry, I remember that. Oh my God, highlights and super highlights. And again, my library might have more books than yours because I have probably more. Okay, so how do we feel with that? We're good with the searching, with the different searching, with browse, how to show the kids the reading tools I've taught you, how to make those reports, what information to find, how to set goals. You can actually change your avatar also. So if you want to go in and click on your avatar, you also have a drop-down menu. You can see your information, you can do your interests, you can see your activities, and you can change your avatar. I was a star. I'm going to change it to, I don't know what this is. Somebody asked me if they're for Jurassic Park that comes out Friday. So I'm a dinosaur. Does that look like a dinosaur? Yes, please. So you can, and the kids do get bonuses, we don't. 70% of the collection is nonfiction for Mayan. They do add books every 6 to 8 weeks, I believe. 10% of the collection is Spanish. Okay, so lots and lots of information. So you're going to forget some of the things I've taught you today. So I want you to do an I do, you do right now. Ready? Get on your any section you are. I want you to get on the teacher. It could be on the library, it could be on the classroom, it doesn't matter where you are. So get on there, and this is something really, really important for you to remember and to share out. Okay, I want everybody to click on the 3 bars, the 3 menu bars. Please click on that for me. Watch what happens. This is important, guys. Okay? What do you see?
Educator resources.
Educator resources. Okay? You also have customer support that you can call them, and you call them and they're answered. But look what you have under educator resources. And this you have to do something for me also. So click on educator resources for me, please. Let me know if I need to go back. I know that you ran out of juice on your computer. Let me know, but I do need you to do this for me. So in educator resources, there's lots of information for you. But I'm going to show you. Do you remember everything I've taught you today? No. Be honest. No. You're going to forget. So the tab that I would go to remember and to refresh your memory is called Using Maya. Watch. Please click on Using Maya. Ah! You have video tutorials, guides, and tips. Now click on that. It's spinning. Mine is spinning. And I'm going to show you what you have. You have other things. Project-based learning, book of the day, summer program. But this one is the most applicable right now. So, if you want to learn, remember we didn't talk about projects. If you want to learn project, it's there. But look what we did talk about. Did we go into types of reports? Did we go into that? So if you forget and want to refresh your memory about the types of report, you click on types of report. You obviously click, and mine is spinning because it's after 3 and it's tired. Because after 2, I don't know about you, but all the internet always goes slow. So there is information of the types of report. overview, part 1. There's a whole overview in there for you, part 2. It's even in Spanish. The building admin. Remember I talked about goals and reports, setting those goals? If we forget, we go goals and reports. There's a little mini video about it. Usually the videos are 2 to 3 minutes, but those videos go too quick for me. So I go into that tab, and there is actual pictures with exactly what to do. And I have what? PDFs on everything. How to set goals, how to navigate. So everything is there for you if you forget. Video with little pictures and PDFs. So if you forget, you have a place to go. So what is the tab that I say is important? Using My On tab. Okay? Now, what I do want you to do is go to the main page. You might have to go into overview. Go into overview. Actually, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Yes, hit the back button for me. If you hit the back button and you see all these tabs, okay? Before we go to the survey, any questions, any clarifications you need from me, something that pops in your head, or if not, remember there's a parking lot that you can always address. Anything that pops in your head, I know that you're on overload. I know you probably can't think now. Anything that pops in your head, any questions that I might have not covered that came up, we're okay? So this is what I need you to do for me. I need you to go to the survey. Go to survey. We're going to play a little game after this, but I want you to go to the survey. Go ahead and fill it out for me. If it asks you for the presenter's
I sent
name,
our quiz line already. Or yours.
yes, if it does ask you for, yes, session facilitated by, do you see where it says that? Session facilitated by, this is my name, Ophelia Alberto is my full name. If you please select that and insert that there, and do the quick survey for me. And then I have a little quiz for you, and I have a prize. I hope I brought my prize. So, does anybody need directions on how to get into the survey? That I do need you to complete for me, because they love us to complete the survey. It should be short, it shouldn't be very long. How many of you are done with the survey? Okay. When you are done, I want you to go and join, open a URL, and put join.quizzes.com. Has anybody heard of Quizzes?
Yes.
Yep.
Have you heard of Kahoot?
Yes.
This is better than Kahoot. This is much better than Kahoot. So I showed you Padlet. You went with that resource if it intrigues you. And mine, obviously, but quizzes is one of my favorites. This is a great interactive game-based learning. You can do it as an exit slip, or you can actually gauge your topic, introduction to a topic, see how much they know, but it's a cute little way of getting your kids started. So, if you go join quizzes, you put in that code. Away, if your students are fooling around, you have the ability to log them off or delete them. I would always give your students best practices. Do you guys have ID numbers for students? You know, have them put their ID number with initials, something that they can't put someone else's name, something, and you will see how many students you have. So if there's one that is not there, if you have 15 kids and you only see 14 participants, you know there's one child that's fooling around and not there. You notice. So I know Julia's in, Stefano's in. This is going to take you about 3 minutes, and you're competing against each other. Competition. Now, this difference from quizzes, from Kahooted. Kahooted, where do you have to look for the questions? On the board. Guess what some of my students and teachers have done? They actually, you know, try to block each other so they don't see the board. And once, what happens, once the question goes, if I didn't answer it, what happens? I lose out. In quizzes, you have the questions in front of you. You do not have to look at the board. I have a leader board on the, you're not looking at the board, and it is, even though you're competing, it is still self-paced. So I can compete against you, but I can actually win even if I've come in after. If I started the quiz and I was in the bathroom and I can actually win because I probably can answer it quicker. So those are some differences between Kahooted and quizzes. So are you ready to start? Okay, and you can't cheat off of each other because the questions are scrambled. So you're not getting the same questions. Ready?